there is a finance report as well. I almost forgot about that. Right, where to start with that? Actually, I'm going to talk about. There's a lot of anomalies actually in it, which you'll see if you read through it. Where is it? First of all, like Ian said, we had a massive increase in funding, and a lot of that, part of that was used to have a support assistant. But due to issues, I can't actually find the report here now. Oh, thank you. I know it anyways. But there was a position with a support assistant that was created. However, due to issues with the employment, that contract was terminated, which has sort of left us with a surplus. There was also issues where the vice president resigned in November, leaving sort of a gap in terms of management of clubs and societies, which means the clubs and societies, while last year there was a very lot of activity there, it meant that a lot of stuff that might have happened in November was postponed until into February and further on in terms of that. So there's things like that have sort of we haven't spent as much as we have in years past. But what I really want to talk about, and I've touched on it really briefly already, is the idea, and I think I wrote it here. I use the term critical mass, where I'm saying that money is only good if you have time to use it for something. There's a lot of campaigns, like for example, if Scotty wanted to do a massive campaign about the accommodation at Solomon Rustic, and he had all this money to do it, but he only had a few days to do it. Then there's only so much he could do, unless he used all the money to get someone else to do the work. And so that's kind of where we are. What has happened this year is we thought we would have greater amount of time, and we have. We've had vice president, which is another half a sabbatical officer. But what's happened, I think, and I think it's reflected in the budget that there is a surplus, is that we have had the additional funding, but not the additional time to utilize it in the way that we would like it to be utilized, and it's doing a disservice, I think, in terms of what we can do, because I think there's an awful lot of talk about whenever it's a constantly reminder that this is public money, and as public money, it can't just be thrown at things, and so therefore it'd be very easy to throw money at things. But it also has to have a measurable, it has to be justified and have an impact, and that is why we have refrained from throwing money at things, just to make, just so that the budget, keeps a bit closer to the projections. I see some interesting expressions around them, and there's probably questions on this.
Is it worth coming back to the budgets later on, perhaps, and actually rescheduling a time? Just do it then.
I'm looking upon, yeah.
I think Dean, myself and Alan had a brief chat yesterday about cutting lunch down to half an hour to save 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And what else did we say, Alan? We were trying to think of how to save a bit of time because of your options.
If we could come back to this. Actually, how about what we were going to do is, if anyone has any questions at all, talk to me on lunch. I will make myself available, and I think that'll be what we'll do.